Now,
of a
I'm not sure if our
reshift.
audience watches much tennis, but overnight it was a phenomenal match from Yannick Sinner and Carlitos
Oh,
Alcaraz.
yes. Such tennis. 5 hours 30.
5 hours 29 to be exact, the longest French Open in history, and the
5:57.
second
5:57 is
longest.
the longest, isn't it?
5:53.
AO. Choco.
Yeah. So it's the longest
yeah.
French Open ever, and it was the second longest
Final.
Grand Slam match or final, in the Open era.
Jeez.
And I tell you what, if you watch the highlights package,
Oh, God.
like
The shot making, unbelievable.
it's unbelievable. It is just insane. So, congratulations to Carlos. I was gunning for him. Did anyone want Sinner to win out of curiosity?
Didn't care.
I don't really
They're
care,
both
to be honest.
guns.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'm sponsored by
Well
Head,
said.
so.
A 5 set is what you want, really.
But also Sinner's sponsored by Nike.
No.
Or are they both sponsored by
Sinner's
Nike?
sponsored
They're
by
both
Head.
sponsored by Nike.
No, Sinner's sponsored by Head. He's
Oh,
right.
is he? Oh,
rackets.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, beautiful. So, in the spirit of one of the greatest Grand Slam finals of all time, I thought we could go into just the greatest matches of all time from various sports. I say we kick it off with football. I'm going to bring one to the table, and it might not be what we expect. It's not a final. 2009, round 14, Geelong versus the Saints.
Bang.
Darcy Gardner.
Both teams undefeated going in, and it comes down to a massive mark right at the end. I encourage anyone who hasn't watched it to go watch the highlights. It's just the quality
full
of players.
games on YouTube.
Yeah, well, exactly.
So-
The quality from both sides is like unbelievable in those games. What do you reckon, T-Dub? Where does that game sit, and what's another game that comes to mind?
Oh, it's the best home and away game of all time.
Yep.
By a
agreed.
mile. Like, no game comes close to it. The fact that the Saints were so far ahead and the Cats came back. And you ask anyone who worked the game or was at the game, it's the loudest they've ever... I mean, it's the biggest crowd at Marvel Stadium at the time.
54, I think.
Telstra Dome. It's no, Etihad. It was Etihad then. It's the biggest crowd ever at that stadium, and I don't think it's really been close since.
Mm.
And for it to be decided by a goal is remarkable.
Darcy Gardner rises like a colossus.
It was like a hell of a mark.
Yeah, and the tongue out the celly.
Kick 4.
What's a game that sticks out in your mind, Janus?
Well, it's funny you say that. Geelong St Kilda 2009. I also went to the grand final. Geelong St
St
Kilda.
Kilda 2009.
Yeah, toe poke.
The rematch.
Chapman.
Good game.
Because that was a wet slog, that game too. You had a lot of moments like, Max Rook sort of sticks to mind. Hawkins hits the post. But yeah, the toe poke, I suppose. It was a similar game to, I think Geelong was sort of... St Kilda dominated that game, if I remember correctly. And Geelong just sort of clawed their way back into it. T-Gub, you?
Footy?
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll start with
Let's
footy.
just go any games, big games for us.
I'll rattle off a couple, and then I'll eventually think. Obviously, 2018, Dom Sheed, massive game. 2012, that's such a good game of football. Hawthorn kicked 4 of the first 5, and then Sydney kicked the next 8, and then Hawthorn kicked like 5 in no time at all, and then Sydney just grind and scrap for the win. Hawthorn Geelong 2013 prelim. That was a bloody good game of football. Dogs Giants.
2016
Dogs Giants.
Yep. Oh yeah,
2016.
good call.
That was a good game. I'll tell you a game that's underrated. It's underrated.
Hit me with it.
The 2021 grand final. Now, hear me out.
I understand what you're saying.
You go and watch that game. there's three of the greatest quarters of football. The last one was good because Melbourne just played pure footy. So it was good. But I mean, you had Melbourne kick away, the Dogs go ballistic, and we're basically a goal off the
Second.
premiership. And then Melbourne
Sure,
kicked 7
yeah.
goals in 5 minutes. And then ran away with it.
I remember
It's
watching
huge.
that actually at Cookies. We had a bunch
Oh.
of mates over, and then when
energy in that
Daniel
room.
slammed Gorn down to the ground, that was the turning point, wasn't it?
That was such a good
The
game of
breakage route as
football.
well,
Yeah, and breaking the drought.
kind of.
It's a shame they didn't win a final
like
for the
it, T-Dub.
next 2 years. It's beautiful.
But how about let's think personally, like big games, memorable games, best matches we've seen that meant a lot to us personally.
As a fan or as a person?
As a fan or a supporter, I don't know. Like I imagine for you, Taylor, the 2023 Melbourne Carlton,
Oh, yes.
like stuff like that.
Go on, you two. Rattle off your grand finals.
No, you've already said mine. Geelong Hawthorn 2013 prelim.
That was such a good game of football.
Easily the most emotional for me. As
Yeah.
the Kenny curse was finally broken. My nightmares were lifted.
Akers was good. But yeah, 2013, that was when we beat Richmond. The two are
Yeah.
so different. The two are just so different. It just
What about you, Janus?
I actually think about the 2022 qualifier against
Oh.
Collingwood.
that was such a good game.
Rowan
That
marks it
Maxi
like Wayne
Holmes?
Carey. Yeah, Rowan's Holmes goal.
That was
Because
a
we didn't kick a goal until late in the first quarter.
very good game of
And
football.
then, because I remember going into that as well, the whole criticism on Gary Rowan was that he did nothing in finals. And then he obviously takes that big pack mark with like 4 minutes to go. Couldn't have kicked it any better from outside 50. Which he flushed it. And then he's involved in getting the ball to Times with the winning goal.
That was such an exciting
I like it,
game.
Janus.
Yeah.
It was such an exciting game because Carlton had just been knocked out by Collingwood the week before by a point with Jamie Elliott, which I can now admit is probably it's actually it's on like par with one of the best home and away games ever. It destroyed
On
me.
Collingwood.
Talk about
Collingwood
states,
when
yeah.
they beat
Oh, yeah.
Collingwood beat us by a point.
That was crazy, man.
That was one of the best games of
Fuck
footy
yeah.
of all time.
That was
But then I
crazy.
was on Geelong so hard the following week in the qualifying final, and I was so happy when they won.
Yeah.
I was down the end
That's
where
right.
Holmes kicked the goal. That was such a good day at the footy for me personally, just because of the environment I was around. There was a lot going on. There was a fight. We made friends with the guys behind us, and my word, when Collingwood hit the front in the last quarter, the bloke behind me like ran down the aisle. And he was like double cobbering fist pump, and you could just see the veins in the side of his head bulging out. And he was so happy. He was so excited. And the best bit was he knew footy as well. He wasn't a flog. He actually knew the game. As opposed to some of the other Collingwood supporters in the world.
Let's shift sports here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the World's game. I'm not the biggest fan, but one that sticks out for me, and it's probably sticks out for a lot of people. The last World Cup's final was outrageous.
Yeah.
Like, I remember waking up at like whatever time it was.
3.
It was just incredible.
Mbappe came,
Yeah,
France.
It was just incredible. Just like Messi versus France, Mbappe versus Argentina. It was just beautiful.
Such a good game. Good
We
game of
talk about
football.
moments because France didn't score their first goal until like the 70th minute,
Yeah.
and then it goes
Like-
to extra time. Like Mbappe's second goal sends it to extra time, and like the cross he got in the volley, like that was a ripper goal. And then you think about Mwani, I think, has into the last 15 seconds of extra time. Mwani's throwing goal for France, and Emi Martinez blocks it, sends it to
I
pens.
know.
Like, talk
Unbelievable.
about moments. But just on that World Cup, as Australians, Matthew Leckie,
Oh,
Denmark. I watched that in Rome. I watched that in a Roman Airbnb with the boys. Leckie goals, and then
it's going to be so hard to be more excited as an Australian supporter, like a Socceroos supporter, than that goal.
oh yeah,
Like
we went mental.
something crazy is going to have to happen.
Not
mean,
really.
how's
We've
that-
just got to
how's
make the
that
round of 16
campaign?
again. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but that's the hard part.
Yeah, but like,
If we can do it though,
yeah,
just
we
the
can.
way it happened.
It was
But
just
even in the round of 16, we pulled Argentina to the sword.
We were right, I guess.
Aziz Behich.
Cool.
Oh, if only he could have scored. Oh, that run.
Yes.
That run. Oh.
I know. T-Dub, what do you got for us?
Just best.
What's a great match of all time from a different sport?
I've got a few. The 28-3 when the Pats overran the Falcons in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
The
I
one
actually
2
saw a
years
tweet
before
today
that.
about that.
The one 2 years before that, the Seahawks game. Two just great games. The one recently, Chiefs 49ers. Chiefs Eagles 2 years ago. There's been some good Super Bowls in the last decade.
Definitely.
And then Cookie, there's a fistful of NBA games to choose from.
What about, just quickly, what about Thurston's
Pacers
winner
just
against the
recently.
Broncos?
Oh, of course. That was so cool.
2015 rugby, what was it, 2015 Rugby League
2015.
Grand Final?
Rugby League, yeah. That was so exciting.
Janice, you should watch that after this. Unbelievable game of rugby.
Rugby League.
Rugby League.
This,
NBA, the most famous one, I think, probably will be the Allen shot to tie the game.
that or 16 Game 7.
Yep,
Those two are probably on par.
yep, definitely.
But you personally, Cookie,
Me
Obviously, you're a big-
personally,
Bucks man,
For now.
like
ooh, honestly,
I've got
for me
a few
personally,
personal ones for Premier League.
for
You
me
go first.
personally, probably just the one where Giannis puts the entire city on his back and drops 50 in a
Yeah,
clinching win. Like, that's just crazy. That's like a bloke kicking like 8 in a grand final for his team to win the game.
Mm.
Like, it was just crazy. It was just beautiful. But yeah. So I like that discussion. That was good.
Yes.
West
just
Ham don't forget
rattling
the
off.
conference final. Sorry, can't have to bring it up.
Don't bring it up, Janus.
The West Ham Conference League final. We beat
Who'd they
Fiorentina
verse?
2-1. Fiorentina.
Oh yeah.
Paquetá played it through.
Sounds
and
like an
Bowen's
omelette.
in. It's up for grabs now.
When was that,
Um,
Janus? 2020.
That was
Three or something?
2022-23.
I
And
thought so.
it got us into the Europa League. And West Ham actually have the longest unbeaten streak in Europe, 17 matches unbeaten. So we did our whole Conference League run unbeaten. And it led into the Europa League, where we went unbeaten until we played Leverkusen and lost.
Sounds like a
Oh,
dessert.
That was when they
that's
were-
right, the Leverkusen run.
That was when they were having their literal like invincible run, where they won like
Yeah,
48 games, or like didn't lose 48 games.
Sounds like a.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dessert.
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen.
Sounds like a.
Um,
Probably is.
Sounds like an Eastern European dessert.